Welcome to the Cerner training video series. Today's lesson will be on Introduction to Order Entry in Cerner. Now we're just going to jump right in here in this patient's chart here. And if you have any questions about how we got here, there's some earlier videos which you can look at, which will give you all the details. Cerner gives you a lot of different ways to enter orders. That can be good, but it can also be bad because there's some inconsistencies that can be confusing. One of the things that Cerner developed over the last few years is the M-Page system. And this system was designed to make Cerner look and flow like a web page. And that's really been great in some areas. In the terms of the order entry system, it has created some confusion. For example, if I'm in my in-page workflow here, I have the option to go to New Order Entry. And I can enter an order directly in this in-page. So if I type in a medication like lisinopril, I'll get several options here, and this includes the dose, 10 milligrams oral daily. Notice I have 10 milligrams oral once. If I do that one, I'm only going to get that medication one time. So you got to be careful that you're selecting the right one. If I select just plain lisinopril, then I'm going to have to go into another window and manually add the strength and the frequency. So I'm going to go here and do 10 milligrams daily. Now that medication does not immediately become active. You'll notice here on the in-page view you get this shopping cart. So to make that order active, you have to go in here and sign the order. Now this function works quite well if you're just entering individual single orders, but if you're ordering a set of power plans that have multiple orders at one time, it's a lot more helpful to go into the add order window. Once again, we're in the end page. It works quite differently. You get the shopping cart. You'll notice that in the same end page view, you have these tabs. You have the quick orders page. The quick orders works in that same way with the shopping cart, and you can go in here and find common orders that you might use all the time. You can select, let's say we want to do a lipid panel. I can click a lipid panel, and there's my shopping cart. And now we're just going to go ahead and sign these orders. You'll see here that I have a diagnosis because this is in my problem list. This patient had a hip fracture, and so these will be listed in the assessment and plan under the orders directly under this diagnosis. So if you had 2 or 3 and you wanted these attributed, let's say, to hypertension, and you had another diagnosis with hypertension, you can actually clear all and then just click underneath that diagnosis, and those orders will appear in your documentation. So I'm going to sign here, and now my orders are active. So back to my workflow. During the training, we demonstrated how we could enter orders within the workflow in page, but I recommend that you consider going to the add order entry window for most, if not all, of your orders, except for just the one-off orders that I just demonstrated. This plus sign will get you to the add order entry window. So now you're immediately in the search window. I can immediately start typing and start getting options. Or this menu that I have hidden, this menu gets you straight to the detailed views that are deeper than the workflows, the end pages. The end pages will get you there if you need it, but this will get you straight there if you just know where you want to go, and you can click add as well and go straight to this page. So if I'm in my workflow, I can go over here to my menu, click add, and now I'm back to my add order entry window. Either way, you're same place. If I type in something like warfarin, I'm going to order that, you'll notice I get a lot of different options. Just like before, I get these order sentences. They give me an option to dose the medication. But I can also, if I click warfarin by itself, I have to give all the options and choices myself, manually clicking on all those windows. You'll notice these icons, they're called power plans, and that's the equivalent to an I-form. So if I wanted to enter in this power plan instead, I can click that, and now I have the contents of that entire power plan. This is the best one to use, by the way, because this automatically orders your pharmacy consult and gets them involved to help tailor the dosage of the Coumadin to the way your patient needs to take it. So I can collapse that with this little icon here. Now I'm going to enter a power plan. So when I type in HOS, that's a code word for hospitalist. If I wanted critical care, I could type in CC for critical care. Surgery, nephrology, so I'm going to select this general admission order set. Now I'm within the order set, and you'll see that there's select an order sentence in several of these. So I'm going to select my resuscitation status to be a full code. You don't have to select an order sentence here, even though it says select an order sentence, because I do not have this ordered. If I hit that check mark, I need to. Let's say I don't want ambulate TID to be the default choice, maybe up ad lib. Say I want a general healthful diet as my default choice in this I-form and this power plan. Old habits are hard to break. And IV fluids, here's 75 cc's an hour. We can do 125 cc's an hour. You'll see this icon. This is a subphase. A subphase is a power plan within a power plan. I want to check that. And I'm immediately taken into that subphase. And I'm giving a lot of options here. I can give a dose of trazodone. Let's say I don't want 100, but I want 50. See here I have options in the order details I can change if I want to change those, but let's say I want this patient also on Zofran, or I want them on Colace and Tums. Return to hospitalist power plan, and let's say some pain medicine. I clicked on that. I'm going to pick Tylenol. I'm happy with this dose, or perhaps I want to make it, perhaps I'm not happy with it. I can double click anywhere in here. Let's say I actually wanted it every 4 hours. I can do that. Now I can click here or here to take me back to my power plan. Say I didn't want oxygen therapy as a default. And okay, I'm pretty happy with this, but let's think if there's something else we may want in here. If I wanted to add another, let's say it was a medication I wanted in here. Let's say I used, let's say I had Ativan ordered. Say that was an order. For whatever reason, I wanted that order in my power plan. I can do that. But actually, if I order it that way, I'm ordering it one time. Every time I go back to that power plan, it won't be there. I'm going to remove it. We have not signed these orders yet. So I'm in my power plan. I'm back over here on the left-hand page. I can get back in my power plan. I can jump around using this left-hand pane. But let's say I want to add to phase. I can add an order. I can type in Ativan, 1 milligram IV Q6 hours. I'll say done. I'm happy with that order. And you'll see when I add it to phase, it ends up in my power plan. Now that's I know what you're thinking. That's a lot of clicking. I'm going to have carpal tunnel syndrome. But I'll show you a very handy feature. Let's say that's a baseline order set, that you're ordering the things you consistently order on every patient that you admit as a general admission. Well, before you sign that order set, click on Save as My Favorite. Type in your first three initials in front of that, and I've got more than this. I'm just going to say version 2. And now I'm going to sign this order. Well, actually, I'm going to do something else. Before I sign it, I'm going to remove it and show you how easy it is. Now let's say I'm in my new patient. I've seen them. I know I'm going to initiate my routine general order set. I can go down to new order entry and click plus, or I can go over here to this menu that's hidden over here and click plus here. Instead of typing in HOS and going to the power plan, instead I'm going to go here to favorites, my favorite plans, and I told you it was MLS, Hospitalist General Admission version 2. I'm going to click that. And before I sign it, I want to show you what we were able to do. You see that a lot of the clicks I made that I changed, like General Healthful Diet, up ad lib, they're still there. But what about these subphases? If I click here to go into the common concerns, you'll see that the orders I placed, trazodone, which I changed from 100 to 50 milligrams, the Zofran, the Tums, the Colace, they're all there. So it saves every one of them. And the medication I added, the Ativan, the PRN that I added to the phase right here, you notice it's still there. So all I have to do in the future when I want a general admission is to go to my add order page, go to my favorites, click on my power plan. If I know I'm happy with it, I know that's what I want, I can sign it, and I'm done. You'll see here the VTE Prophylaxis Advisor. This is something I'll get into another time. It is handy, but we'll cancel it for now. And I'll hit refresh. You always want to, at the end of whatever you're doing, click refresh. It will reflect in the screen below that you've done these things. Now if I go to my left-hand pane in here and click on orders, I can see all the orders that I've made. And these are planned orders, by the way. Notice that I discussed, I may have mentioned or not, about initiate versus signing the orders. If you ever make an order in, let's say over here, where you just do a one-off order, or you go to quick orders and just do 1 or 2 quick orders, they always get initiated, so they're immediately active. If you sign the orders, as opposed to initiating them, the orders are there in a planned state waiting for the nurse to initiate them. So once you sign them, you give the authority to the nurse to initiate them. You never want to initiate an order if that patient is not where they're going to be. If let's say they're in the PACU, they're moving to the floor, you place orders in the PACU, but you intend for them to be placed on the floor to be activated on the floor, you don't want to initiate them in the PACU. You can leave that up to the nurse. You can feel pretty comfortable that if you sign the orders, the nurses are going to see these orders and initiate them. But if the patient, let's say they're on the floor, they're on 3 South, and you want to initiate the orders right away, you can do that. But if the patient is transitioning, it's better just to sign the order rather than to initiate it. So that's just a brief overview of the order entry system in Cerner. I think once you have taken time to set up some of your favorites, you'll see this is far less cumbersome than it might at first appear. All of your power plans are there. You can modify them, you can add to them, you can customize them. And once you do that, it becomes even quicker than paper, believe it or not. So that concludes this video tutorial. I hope you find it helpful. Thank you.